wanted to just pause on all things fashion and talk about all things tradition. So we hope that this week you are enjoying your families and the season and really feeling the spirit of Christmas. But today we just wanted to kind of dive into what we feel are some of our most important traditions and share them with you. So by the time you get done, we want you to be thinking and typing. So we want to know what your traditions are, what you love, what you can do without if you want to share that. And it's something that you absolutely just look forward to every single year. So you may not celebrate Christmas, but Hanukkah's in there. There's all kinds of holidays this time of season. So we just want you to know that we love you all, but we are kind of focusing this on Christmas because that is where our hearts are. And so we hope that you enjoy this.
Yeah, well, this is just such a joyous time of the year for me. And I know that it can be hard for some people because they've had loss. I've had loss over the holidays. My dad died basically right after the first of the year in January 2020. So I totally get the feeling of loss also, but there's so much joy that can be found in this time of the year. And I know that a lot of times it can be stressful too. And it used to be stressful for me. And I've kind of taken all of those, I don't know, preconceived notions out of the playbook. And I just really live in the moment. I think from years and years of being in retail or working for the postal service or, all of the things, and not getting to really fully enjoy the holidays and just what it's all about. And for me, it's about being with family. It's about rejoicing for the birth of my Savior. It's just a time of kind of rejuvenation and renewal, because in the winter, while there's still lots going on, it's a little less hectic for me than in the heat of summer and things. So I love this time of the year. Not the weather this time of the year, but I love the rest of this year.
I can say I'm looking out. Usually Utah winters have a bright blue sky, and today it's a little gloomy. So I'm with you. I like to hike in it. I don't want to be cold though. So
yeah.
Well,
sure.
I thought it would be fun if we started out with one of our most memorable childhood traditions and something and it may be something you've carried forward. Maybe it's something that you just remember, but why don't you share with us something that was very special to you as a child?
Yeah. Well, my biggest childhood memory is just every Christmas Eve. That was our time to open presents, and Santa came obviously the next day. So we had all the rest of the presents cleared out so we could just really enjoy what Santa brought. But we would gather around, open our presents, and always one of the presents would be pajamas. So we would have brand new, cute pajamas that we would be wearing on Christmas morning. So I love that part.
Well,
I haven't been able to carry that through. Kevin is not a open presents on Christmas Eve kind of guy. So
maybe you can at least get him to open one and give him some pajamas.
I've not been able to talk him into it. He's pretty hardcore.
I do know that he doesn't like to sleep with any clothes on, and maybe that's why.
Yep, that's why.
Well, I will tell you mine. My Johansson side, so my dad's side, my grandma was a kick in the pants. I mean, every single year as kids, it was not Christmas till it was the Johansson family Christmas party. And it was always like my dad had flipped donuts in the parking lot, in the car. I mean, it was just like, I remember it being a journey it was in the old Lions Lodge. Well, it wasn't that far away from home, but when you're little, it was like, oh my gosh. And then we'd pull up, and my grandma always did a talent show. And then there was a live nativity. So all the grandkids had to dress up as the wise men and the angels. And then the funniest part was there was always a band, And one year the instruments had to be handmade. And so they had blocks and pans, and my aunt had made like a drum set out of 5-gallon buckets for my cousin. And it was all the things. And then we would sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." Oh my gosh. And we'd sing it loud, and we'd start singing, like we'd sing other songs, but as soon as we got to "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," like I still get excited. We'd hear "ho, ho, ho," and like, oh my gosh. And, you know, I still like can feel the anticipation. And Santa Claus always came to our party, and he had this big bag. And sometimes our gift was a box of cereal, and sometimes it was a coloring book, but we all got to sit on his lap, and it was just cousins. And, you know, I mean, it was the best party ever, like ever. And my grandma was so cute. Her sister came a couple times with their family, but one year they danced in the red flapper pajamas, like that show your bum. And so here's my little grandma and her sister in nothing but these underwear pajamas, and they had a red nose and antlers. And at the very end, they turned and flashed their little like flapper pajamas at us. And I mean, it was just, that is something that I look back on. And the sadness part, I remember the very last one we had, my grandpa had passed away. I think it was December 21st. Or no, it was earlier. It was early. I'll have to check his obituary, but I think it was like 2 weeks before her party was scheduled. And I just remember her being so sad, and she wasn't going to do the party. And my mom and my aunts, everyone rallied and said, "Grandma, we got to do this one more time." But that was the last time we got to have that. But by then our families had all kind of grown. And I think it was her kind of way of saying it's time to pass the torch to your own mothers. But I just remember that was the hardest thing. And I was full grown and probably married when she said, "We're not doing these anymore." But that party was the greatest party ever.
That sounds amazing.
Oh,
Absolutely
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah. So I grew up in California, and my grandparents out there were like 2 hours away from where we lived, but it ended up being like 6 or 8 hours on heavy traffic days. And so one of the memories that I have, especially of going in at Thanksgiving and stuff, is just sitting on the Altamont trying to get to grandma and grandpa's. And so I don't know, it was different. I love that you had all of that dynamic family interaction, but I've been like my grandparents out here in Kansas, 1,800 miles away. So it's just been a little bit different. I wasn't ever close to my cousins. They lived out here. I was out there. Now I do have my cousin Scott in California, and him and I, now they live several hours away too, but boy, howdy, when we got together, there's some stories there.
That's awesome. I was
Yeah.
the only girl cousin my age on that side of the family with, let's see, Johnny, David, Matt, 3 boys. And so I was the only girl cousin my age. But we had, I mean, all of our family, they were from our town or somewhere close, driving, within driving distance. So
that's so nice.
that was
Special.
definitely the highlight of, I mean, that's what made Christmas for us. I think we're almost more excited about that party than actually Christmas Day. I mean,
Yeah.
there was just something really magical about it. So
Yeah. How about today? So what is it that you do now to create traditions for your family? And I love your basement story.
okay, so for those that have never, that are new joining us, as it is when you get married, you have to kind of figure out what traditions stick and which ones go by wayside. And my husband is from a family of the majority. I mean, there's 7 boys and 1 girl, and we came from an all-girl family. So really that could have been so different. But what was fun with his is his parents had so many kids to wrangle they got locked up. So they put chairs and locked the doors, and the kids were all locked upstairs, and they were not allowed to come downstairs. And so for us, Garrett wanted to keep that tradition of being locked away. And so that has been really fun. We lock our kids up. When they were smaller, we locked them in our bedroom. And in fact, we have a little video of my son that's going to be getting married. He's now almost 20. And he was standing with his brother begging on video for someone to please call and get help and find a key, because they were just locked in and they knew Santa had come. They heard his bells, but they could not get out of our bedroom. And so now it is down in our basement, and we still, if they live in this house, they are locked in the basement. So Breely gets to be locked away with my 22-year-old, my 19-year-old's coming home, and she gets, so we give them, I am humane. I mean, I give them treats. They have access to a bathroom and a TV and video games. Yeah.
Amy
And
has a very nice bathroom. They are not wanting for, or basement. They're not wanting for anything.
Yeah, but they are not, I mean, they are locked in there. And what's funny is we always used to try and stay awake. My kids are always like, we're tired, we're going to go to bed. And I'm like, no, you got to stay up and play. And they're like, no, we want Santa to come. So they were always like settling down pretty quick. But yeah, they get locked away. And Breely is going to be locked away probably alone for a couple of years, but she will be locked in her bedroom with some kind of video game or a book.
With her kitty.
Yes, with Sophie.
Yeah,
and how about you?
Well, so Christmas Eve, Kevin and I always go to his mom and dad's, and that's going to be changed a little bit this year, moving forward. But, you know, we go get together with his family. We go to their church, which is out in the country. It's on miles and miles of country road. It's just the most beautiful old country church, and the kids do this fantastic Christmas program. They still have a Lutheran school that the kids go to, and so they all have lots of time to practice and some fantastic just Christmas stories there, and talking about the birth of Jesus, and I just absolutely love it. And it's an old German church, and so we always in the night singing Silent Night in German, which is kind of
So
gives me
cool.
goosebumps. Yeah, it's really fun. And we do the candlelight. It used to be with actual candles, and now the last few years they've done the battery ones. But yeah, it's just really a neat thing. And then we go to, so either they have early church or late church. So depending, we go to his mom and dad's either before or after, and we have soup and sandwiches, and we get together and open gifts with them. And then on Christmas Day, I used to host at our house, but years ago we had this huge snowstorm that moved in, and we actually weren't able to get out to go to Christmas Eve either, but nobody was able to get into our place for about a week. And so
Wow.
that kind of oh yeah, it was crazy. Kevin had to walk out to like the mile road to get picked up by a snowmobile to get out to take care of chores and stuff. It was crazy, but that just solidified in my mind how wonderful it is just to be the two of us on Christmas. And so now I've just really cherished that day, and we either have family here before or after, but it's not on the day. And it's just, Kevin always has chores for a few hours in the morning, so he has work, but I usually do our chores around home, and then when he gets home I make clam chowder and homemade bread, and it's just a nice relaxing day together, which is really important.
I'm really looking forward to my first Christmas Day home as well.
Yeah.
So we always would go to Garrett's mom's on Christmas Day because she still had little kids when we were married. She makes the best Christmas breakfast ever. But she's gone this season. And so we're doing it on the 23rd. And I'm really secretly hoping that she'll keep it on the 23rd because now our families are growing. And I really love not having to rush out of the house. Like I am really looking forward to a quiet Christmas day. So, you know, we've
Once
never
you have
had
to
that.
experience it, I don't think you're ever going to be able to go back to another way.
Yeah. Well, we may not let her. I mean, like I said, we're all like Garrett and I married the oldest son, and we all now have kids that are getting married, and you know, so I think it's probably time for us to keep Christmas Day for our own families, but who knows? You never know. If they keep it on Christmas Day, we'll show up, but I'm really excited to have it on the 23rd and be able to just kind of stay quiet in the house with my family. So yeah.
So
Okay.
what's your favorite treat on Christmas?
I was just going to ask you about food.
Pizza.
You sure did. Oh, I have to say, because we've always gone to his mom's for breakfast, she calls it Christmas casserole. I don't really know how to describe it other than like she soaks the bread in egg all night, but there's sausage in it and cheese, and then she bakes it and it comes out like a square of deliciousness.
It's like bread pudding casserole
With
breakfast.
sausage and cheese and egg, yes, and it's amazing. And then she makes quiche and has fresh fruit and bacon. Like that has always been a treat. But I make some really good sugar cookies. So of course we like to do cookies. This year though, I'm trying something new. I am going to do white chocolate, caramel, and sugar covered apples.
Ooh.
Yes. We're going to
That
try and make
sounds delicious.
some carameled apples. So yeah, I love carameled apples.
Yeah.
So we're going to try a new thing this year.
Interesting.
What about you?
Right. Well,
you said clam chowder. You'll never get me to
I don't
it.
eat clam chowder. I only make it for Kevin.
Okay. I was going to say I would never eat that, but
I'm a texture person. I can't do the texture. So
Yeah.
I love my husband, so I make him clam chowder. And I eat homemade bread fresh from the oven, slathered in butter. I was thinking, so something that I've been craving a ton is eggnog. And I have always loved eggnog, but I haven't had it the last several years because I don't do sugar. And so this morning I have to say it was just hilarious because I was like, okay, how could I figure out how to make eggnog without a bunch of sugar and still have it taste amazing? And a friend of mine, Kim, just was up at my house here a couple of weeks ago, and she brought this ticino, which was absolutely amazing. So then of course I had to hop on and get myself some, but they sent an email this morning and they have an eggnog flavor of that. So I was like,
so it's more of a tea that is flavored like eggnog.
I'm not sure. I'm going to find out.
Well, I'm going to have to, I now know that I'm going to have to find you a mug with moose antlers on it so you can sip it like Chevy Chase.
Yes. Yes. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Okay, I have to show you one thing that was given to me last year from my girlfriend, and it has quickly turned into my absolute most favorite Christmas story of all times, because it is, I believe in Santa Claus. And what I have to tell you is the pictures are just so pretty. Oh, there's a sneak peek of Christ. But the cool thing is everything in the story, she tells you how Santa Claus resembles Christ. And so the symbols are, a wreath is for eternal love, no beginning, no end. Love comes in a full circle. Candles are the light of Christ, our own inner light. Gifts, giving, sharing, thinking of others. The bow is tied in bonds of brotherly love. The bell rings to bring lost sheep home. tree, evergreen of everlasting life, pointing heavenward. Candy cane, shepherd's crook for bringing lambs back to the fold. Red, the Savior's sacrifice for all. Star, the Bethlehem star, a sign of prophecy, the light of the world. Santa Claus, the spirit of Christmas, giving and receiving love, caring, sharing, kindness, cheerfulness, happiness, peace, goodwill to all, and Christ-like living. And then there's like a side where the scriptures are referenced for each of the symbols, but it talks about the similarities between Christ and Santa. So I'll just show you. So like on this page, Santa wears red, and then as you go on, they're talking about the Savior, and it's he wears red. So it is.
I'm gonna need the link for that. That looks incredible.
Yeah, it is awesome. And it was given to me as a gift last year, and I had never heard of it, and I love it, and Breely loves it. And it's just a way to tie the two together, because there really is something magical about both.
Well, I'm picking up on something in your video that I didn't realize about you, but you must be an elf in the shelf mom.
Oh yeah, Tangled came to us when Breely was 2 years old, and she is the best elf ever. She is not naughty. She likes to play hide and seek. Of course, she brings her book with her, but the best part is that when Breely was little, she started writing notes to Tangled and would leave them near her so she didn't mess up her magic. And now every once in a while, Tangled will write back to her. So they're kind of pen pals, and
that sounds like my kind of elf. You guys lucked out.
Yeah, she is not a naughty elf at all. In fact, she's kind of funny though. During quarantine, she was quarantined and, so she couldn't move. I mean, she had to stay in her glass jar, and she had written Breely a letter that said stupid rules or something, and every year she always says something about stupid rules. So, it's been fun for Breely to grow up and have this elf know who she is and have direct communication to the North Pole. So that's been a lot of fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh my goodness. What else was I going to ask you? Your book is kind of a great thing to end on, because my goodness, how could you wrap up all of the season in one little book so beautifully? But yeah, maybe we do need to end it on that, because I'm completely out of thoughts.
Well, I'm just saying there may be a package coming, and you may not need the link to the book anyway. So
oh well. Now I'm super excited.
I think I just got in trouble, but it is something that needs to be shared. It's really a cool story.
Yeah.
We can put the link here in the conversation.
I just think of something. Okay. Favorite Christmas gift of all time?
Well, not Christmas. I can say my favorite gift would be my children. And I feel like Christmas is a time to remember how important family is. Best gift of all time, I think when I was little, my mom and dad back then, they paid cash for everything. So if they didn't have the money to donate to the North Pole and how all those things work, I mean, I still don't really know. I remember getting skis though. And they were hidden. Santa Claus hid our presents a lot. Like we had to go find them. And the one other one that was really fun was I was in the 5th grade, and we were given a trip to Disneyland, but it was on a charter bus with my aunt, who was a school teacher from another town. And Santa didn't want us to feel like we weren't getting anything. So we opened up a bunch of books that were just filled with like magazines and like thread, so they'd shake. And we had to go on a hunt to find our tickets. So it was always interesting because we never knew what we were going to get. Sometimes it's what we asked for. Sometimes it was different.
Mhm.
but I never, ever felt like I went without. I mean,
Yeah.
I can honestly say, and maybe we just weren't spoiled children, like maybe we just didn't think that way. But I think how hard it would have been for my parents to have 5 daughters and feel like they were doing, enough, or that there was enough to go around, and also to be generous to other families. I always remember we lived in a great little quaint town, and we lived in the neighborhood, like not where I live now. So we had neighbors, and I just remember there was always a knock at the door and somebody running, and there would be 12 days of Christmas, or we would do that for families. So that was another part that kind of comes to mind when I think about how hard my parents worked to really show us that the generosity was part of the magic, so
Aren't parents amazing? I think about that because I'm the oldest of 5 too, and there's 4 girls and a boy, and there was a lot of lean years,
yeah.
and I too don't feel like I ever went without. I just look back and go, how on earth did they make that happen? And
Well,
not just for Christmas, but year
yeah,
round. I mean, sometimes yeah, I don't know.
I know it really it does blow my mind, because I think they had to go, like, okay, I tell you one sweet story. It's about my sister, actually, with my dad's very first, so my sister I'm 46, so she'll be 48. So I think she was the only child at the time, but she wanted one of those hoppity hops that you sat on, like that was a ball and had a handle but they had a Mickey Mouse one, like a hoppity hop. And that's all she wanted for Christmas. And my parents were barely getting by with one child at that time. I think he was just starting school teaching, and he didn't have a paycheck until it got really close to Christmas. And I know I mean, like in our family, we have to donate a portion of funds to the North Pole, and then they kind of take care of it. And then we try and give extra for the kids, I mean, there's a lot that goes on. So I don't know, but I don't know if my dad was late getting money to the North Pole or communicating to Santa Claus. I don't know. But she didn't get the hoppity hop she asked for, or maybe she didn't get one. I can't even remember. I don't think she got one. And I guess she just cried and cried. And she was only like 18 months old, 2 years old, something like that. I'm kind of butchering this story, but I have to tell you, my dad never forgot that. And about 4 years ago, my dad showed up at my sister's door with a present, and I'm going to cry.
Me too, thanks.
She opened it up, and it was the hoppity hop that she
Oh,
had asked for. And he had never forgotten. And he felt so bad because he just couldn't communicate. I mean, back then there was no email. There wasn't a way
yeah.
to get a hold of Santa Claus quickly, And so he gave her the hoppity hop, and I think it was for her like 45th birthday or something. And it just broke his heart that his little girl, went without. And so I don't know.
Those daddies, there's something else.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Good.
know. What about you? Was there anything super sentimental that you asked for or got, or?
Well, so nothing that really I can remember that I asked for, but I will tell you that probably, I don't know, there's been lots of great gifts, but one of my most cherished gifts is from Kevin. And it was several years ago. I judged a world quarter horse show with one of my mentors, like my main mentor, and a very big father figure in my life. Him and his wife were incredible. They both coached me in my college show career and stuff. And so it was amazing to be judging the same show with Dr. Webb. And that Christmas, I got a framed picture. Well, it's got two pictures of the two of us out in the arena judging. And Kevin had called down, got lined out with the photographer, asked him specifically to take some pictures of Dr. Webb and I, kind of coached him on what to do, and like did all the things, and then had the pictures shipped up, went down to Manhattan, which is an hour and 15 minutes from us, had them all professionally framed and matted, and like the whole thing. And it just blew me away.
Well, the coordination and the planning beforehand.
The foresight, yeah, just to
Oh,
make it all
wow.
happen. And I thought, oh my word,
That is
I
so
love my husband.
Aw.
So, yeah,
He
it was
can
just
do no
cherished
wrong.
memories.
He can't get in trouble anymore.
Yeah, no. Well, he masterminded getting my trusses up this weekend, so he definitely cannot get in trouble for anything.
Oh, what a good guy. That's awesome.
Wonderful husband. I'm blessed.
Well, why don't you wrap us up?
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us on this conversation. And we just always love to hear from you. And this actually developed from a request from one of you guys. So we love it when you ask for specific things, whether it's in the fashion realm or fitness or food or, you know, any of the things that we've talked about, being over 40. All the things, we're here for it. You know, we're in this together. So if there's something that you would love to see us cover, visit about, let us know either in the comments, in the text, however you want to communicate. We love to hear from you. That is what keeps us going, truly, and it helps give us new inspiration as well. So we appreciate you being with us for the last 3 years. Can you believe it? 3 years. And we can't wait to be here for another 3 years and beyond. So thank you. Have a lovely, lovely Christmas and holiday season. And we can't wait to hear about your traditions.